Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, Herniated Disc Recovery, Why Mindset Matters. Now, for me, one of the most important aspects of your recovery journey from a herniated disc is your mindset. How you approach the rehabilitation, how you approach all the exercises, how to change your lifestyle, your daily activities to put you in the best place to recover from this injury. And we're going to be diving into that in this video. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Hi guys, so today I'm doing a little bit of a different video today. And then I'm out of the gym, I'm not at home. I'm actually taking a walk around my neighborhood because I want to talk about one, I think it could be in the top 3 most important aspects of your recovery when it comes to herniated disc. And this could be a lumbar herniated disc, it could be a neck herniation, it could be any injury. And that is your mindset. Your mindset going into the rehabilitation is super, super important. I can't stress enough how important this is. So basically, you can have a growth mindset, which means you are flexible, adaptable, willing to try new things, want to improve, etc. Or you can have a fixed mindset, okay, where you're resistant to change. You don't think doing something is going to work. You're stuck in this old way of thinking, and you're not going to get out of that. Okay, so you need to change your beliefs. Now, the problem is when it comes to injury. And the reason this came to the fore was basically I was going back through some of my old textbooks from university, donkey years ago, and talking about the rehabilitation of athletes and their mindset, and also what's called the locus of control. Now, the locus of control is all about who or what decides the outcomes in your life. So I'll give you an example, it's easier to understand. So you can have internal locus of control, and you have external locus of control. So if I was an athlete and I win a competition, then I could say at the end of it, I trained the hardest, I put all the effort in, I never took a day off, I had my nutrition right, that's why I won, okay? That's an internal locus of control. If the person loses and they say, the referee, gave points to my opposition, the weather was bad, my racket was bad, okay, that's an external locus of control. And you can probably guess that the healthier aspect is having an internal locus of control combined with a growth mindset, okay? Now, of course, not everybody has these, aspects developed. And herein lies the problem, okay? Because when you come to rehabilitation and you go to the rehab clinic, okay, you can have the best physio in the world, you can have the best rehab program in the world, but if you don't have the correct mindset going into it, it's always going to be a struggle for you. It's always going to be a struggle. And this is something I've come across a lot more recently with, just going through different clients, how they approach things, how they approach life in general. And, hats off to one of my clients at the minute. And if you're watching, you know who it is, who just moved back to California. And he has really changed his mindset over his injury. And it is a night and day 180 turnaround. And I'm super proud of him. So I hope you are watching this, because I'm super proud of you being able to do that, to realize that, and to literally take the bull by the horns and recognize where you are on the journey, and, not to worry so much about certain things. And, to get into the weeds a little bit more, and this is something which I think is lacking when it comes to rehab, is the psychological side of this particular injury, especially lower back injury. And I've talked about it, I've got numerous videos on it, that it is something which is not addressed by normal physiotherapy. They do not look at the person's mindset going in to see what they need support with, what they need help with. And it is something that I try to work with my clients. I'm not a qualified psychologist by any means, but I did do postgrad sports psychology, exercise psychology, so I'm aware of certain theories. And I did make a guide for my clients to follow to help them on their injury path, okay? So to get into the weeds a little bit, when you go into this injury, okay, there's a couple of truths you need to know. Do not believe the internet, okay? I did a video on, time to recovery, because if you look at the internet or you Google how long does a herniated disc take to recover. Hi guys, pardon the interruption. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but I need your help. because I make a lot of content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain issues. If you look at a lot of my videos, there's a lot of comments. People really appreciate the work that I'm doing, and I'm super, super happy that I'm helping these people. But you can help me more. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button, okay? You're gonna help the algorithm. You're gonna basically get this content out to more people. Yeah, as my content, as my channel grows, more people will get my great content. It's going to help a lot of people suffering with their low back pain issues get back on the road to recovery. It's a small ask because I do make a lot of work here. Of course, I do a lot of filming, producing, etc., editing. Okay, it's a lot of my time to make this content, and I really appreciate that you guys like it. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, and enjoy the rest of the video. They'll tell you, oh, 46 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, this is nonsense, right? Those figures, if you want to find out, those figures were pulled from insurance data in the USA. Realistically, you're looking at a 6 month, if you're young and it's a disc bulge, up to 18 months, 2 years, if you're a fully fledged athlete and you want to get back to your previous level of conditioning and you want this injury to heal correctly, okay? It is very much a marathon and not a sprint, all right? So that's the first thing that you have to get your mindset around, is that you're going to have to be adaptable, flexible. There is going to be hurdles during the journey. There is going to be setbacks. And setbacks are all completely normal aspects of recovery, okay? And it's very difficult to have a complete linear, like this state of progression from start to finish. Athletes during training, they have stages of, low loading, high loading, super compensation phases. They might get a small injury, a small niggle, holds them back a few weeks. It's never plain sailing, and it's the same for rehabilitation. And, there is no one size fits all. So there's a lot of cookie cutter type programs that people can enroll in. And, some people will succeed with those, okay? However, it is really hard to put everybody into one box because lower back injuries typically are multifactorial. There's many issues. It can be from, an injury from the past. It can be from birth. It could be their sport. And there could be issues with the disc, issues with the spine, issues with the ligaments, issues with the facet joints. There's many, many things which can contribute to the injury. Generally though, it is all about lumbar sacral stability, stabilizing the lumbar spine, getting as strong as possible throughout your whole body, okay, general whole body conditioning, getting as much movement as possible to stimulate blood flow, okay, but it's how you put it together, which is the most important thing. So knowing that when you go in to rehab, okay, just be aware, it's a very long process, okay, so you have to have the mindset to be adaptable, to be flexible, okay, you have to change to a much more growth mindset, all right. Now, as far as control, okay, you have control over what you can do to some degree, okay? What I mean by that is you can't control what the MRI says, right? The MRI might say one thing, but I try to tell people time and time again, stop focusing on the MRI, okay? Stop focusing on what it says in the piece of paper, what it shows on the picture. That could have been there years before. You could give that MRI to 5 different radiologists, they'll give you 5 different reports, okay? Some might put more emphasis on certain things they find in the MRI, but regardless, try to put that to the back of your mind, okay? Focus on what you can control, which is, of course, the exercise, doing rehab, movement in your off days, etc. Because if you have much more of a external locus of control, you're really just going to be going to rehab 3 times a week, and that's it, okay? Understand you've got control of how you move during the day, spinal hygiene, okay, getting up in the morning, trying not to bend the first 3-4 hours of the day, okay, avoiding spinal flexion, movement, walking, steps, getting out of your chair every hour, doing some movements, core, planking, McKenzie movements, all these things can be done during your day outside of your rehab, okay? You got 160 hours in a week, okay? If I'm going to rehab 3 hours of the week, that's, aside from sleep, there's over 100 hours of time where I'm working, doing other stuff, where I can undo all the good work I do in physiotherapy. Typically, low back injuries, unless you're involved in an acute car accident, they happen over time, okay? It's accumulation of load through different planes of motion, sometimes an overstressing of one particular plane of motion and an increase in load or increase in weight, whatever it could be, and it just, boom, and that's it. Okay, it's taking time to get there, and then you've got that final straw, and then it just pushes you over the edge. To get back out of that, you have to reverse all of that, okay? So if it was movement patterns, if it was inflexibility in your hips, if it was something you were born with, okay? Like myself, I've got retrolithiasis, okay? I've got a rearward shift in my L5 vertebra, okay? That predisposes me to more chance of a disc herniation, which I have, right? L5S1, twice now, okay? And I've just come back from my second time 20 years apart. So certain things you can control and certain things you cannot control, okay? But it's understanding what you can control and putting that to good use, actually, putting the work in, modifying exercises, changing around, getting up, moving, etc., right? But you need to have that growth mindset, okay, to be able to do that, to be able to adapt, to see the journey ahead. It's going to be a long one. And the way I like to tell people to do it is to try to break it down, okay, reverse engineer it. So if I was a gym user, okay, and I want to go back to squats, for example, okay, and I've just been injured, and I'm like, right, I'm going to put myself a year, 12 months away, okay? It's when I'm aiming to squat again. And that squat in a year's time may just be a sort of goblet type squat with a weight in front of me, like a kettlebell, all right? And, I might have to work backwards and say, okay, kettlebell squat, goblet squat in 12 months. By 11 months, I want to be doing walking lunges, right, with dumbbells. 10 months, I want to be doing high box step-ups with dumbbells, okay? Working it back into 9, 8, 7 months, I want to be doing, body weight, one leg stand-ups to a box, okay? So you are taking your ultimate exercise in the future and then working it backwards, okay? Because you have control of this, right? Of doing your program and basically writing down the exercises you can do in that time, okay? And maybe at the minute, right now, it may only be like small box step-ups, okay? Maybe 1 foot, 18 inches high, just body weight, high reps, 10 to 15 repetitions, and that'll be your starting point. But that's what you've got control over, okay? Don't get into this defeatist mindset, oh, you won't be able to squat again, you won't be able to do this again. I was able to come back, deadlift heavy again, squat heavy again, back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all these different things, okay? Currently, I've come back again for the second time, and there's some videos going to flash up of my leg workout I was doing about a month ago. I've changed the routine again, so I'm doing something else right now. But you can come back, okay? You will come back, all right? You just got to put the work in. And apologies for the waves, okay? There's waves crashing here, so if that sound you're hearing, it's just the waves in the background here. Hopefully it's not too loud on camera. So just to sort of go over again, okay? I know I'm sounding, maybe overly positive here. Not everyone maybe has access to somebody who can help them, okay? Check out a lot of my content, okay? I have a lot of good videos on the psychological side of recovery, the different approaches to mindset, how you can change the way you think, how you control your thoughts as to what you've got control over, okay? I'm basically basing it on cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps you, look at some of your thoughts and beliefs and how they actually, transpire into reality and what you can do to change them, if you need to change them, to improve your outcome, okay? So there's 2 videos going to flash up at the end of this video, so keep watching to the end, that will be focused more on CBT, which will help with your recovery, okay? So, as I said, the mind is very powerful, okay? And you have to go into this injury, speak to your friends, speak to your close relatives, your family, okay, your partner, make them understand that, look, this injury, it's a long haul, okay? You might be upset at times, you might be angry at times, you might be sad at times, which is very, very normal. You just have to get the support, people around about you. Understand there's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? Get off Reddit. I'm going to make a video soon about that. Reddit is the worst place to go. Everybody's, pardon my French, complaining, moaning, BHing, and just generally getting angry and peed off, okay? They don't go there to tell you how successful they've been with their recovery, okay? Try to avoid that. That's just going to bring you down, okay? You need to surround yourself with good, positive support, good, positive vibes, okay? And, you know, as I said, think about what you can change, what you've got the power to change, the power to be adaptable, okay? And then, of course, you've got your program. You're going to be doing a rehab program. If you don't have one, you've just been diagnosed and you don't have a rehab program, I've got a really basic one, which I'll put a link down in the description down below. You can go and check it out, okay? It's pretty much for every beginner to start on for a lumbar herniated disc. I would advise you go and check it out if you don't have one already. Get stuck in, okay? And I can't stress this enough, okay? So you've got the mindset, right? We've got the factors that we dictate it down to, whether it be internal, ourselves, okay? Our own sort of control of what we do. But sometimes we lack the ability to be able to measure this, okay? And I cannot stress this enough, right? I've gone over this numerous times. You have to record everything you do, okay? And why is this so important? Because to keep that growth mindset, to keep yourself thinking positively, you need to see improvement. You need to see that you've done well, that you've improved since you started out on this journey. If you're recording, you know, your daily activities, how far you're walking, how many steps you're walking, exercises, how many reps you're doing, you know, quality of sleep, okay, the pain levels, right? You start to see week upon week improvements. Oh, an extra 1,000 steps this week, or I did an extra 5 reps in that exercise. That keeps the positive mindset going, okay? It basically strengthens your sort of your awareness, your knowledge that you can get better, okay? That you have the ability to get stronger, to improve, okay? If you don't have a record of this, there's no way you're going to be able to look back and you won't know how far you've come, okay? If you've got a record, right? If you're planning what you're doing, you can see where you've come and you can reflect back at that point and say, right, I have got stronger. I am able to, you know, do more this week or this month. I'm on the right path. I'm on the way to my 12-month or my 18-month, target down the line, my goal. If you don't do this, I tell you, I mean, how many times I spoke to clients, I've had to kind of drag things out of them, okay, success, bits of their success, because they refuse sometimes to see those aspects of their success, right? And I've had to drag it out of them bit by bit. And they go, oh yeah, you're right, Colin, actually, yeah. And I said, yeah, that's a win. That's a massive win, okay? But all that combined will improve your mindset, okay? It will help shift, this locus of control to being more internal. It's like, I did that, right? I did those extra reps. I went to that extra walk. I got those extra steps in, yeah? So all these things combined make a massive, massive difference, okay, to the ability for you to recover, yeah? So I hope this video has been useful, yeah? It was just something a little bit different. I wanted to take a walk and I thought, well, take the camera with me and do my next video because mindset has become very important when it comes to all aspects, okay, especially with physical performance, but especially with this particular injury because it is not just, a broken leg, 6 to 8 weeks in a cast, okay, or a broken arm, right? This is months of recovery and it's months of you hobbling around potentially, being conscious of how you sit, where you sit, which restaurant you go to, can you lean somewhere? I can't stay too long because they've got hard chairs. I need to go to a place with, like a breakfast bar that I can lean on. All these things come into this particular injury, okay? I can't drive. You get somebody else to take me to, give me a lift to the whatever. I can't pick up my kids, can't play with my kids. All these things really affect the psychology of the person, all right? So mindset, massively, massively important going into this injury. So if you have any comments or questions, please hit me up in the comment section down below. Okay, I do reply to everybody. Sometimes it takes me a few days or so, but I will get back to you. If you want some more personal help, I do a free advice call, okay? The link's in the description. You can book in there, 45 minutes an hour, we have a chat. I give you some things to go and try to do to put you back onto kind of a pain-free track, so to speak. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe for more great content. Okay guys, listen, I am going to check out now. So please, if you've liked this video, like it, share, okay, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.